Good morning. It's the Call Flow Radio Show, and you're on the air.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday to you, and welcome to the Call Flow Show this morning. Chris Wood with me throughout the program. We will have Jordan Miles from the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors talk about that Board of Supervisors meeting earlier this week in just a moment. I do want to start the program off by just briefly mentioning some reminder. This is a public forum, and therefore any personal opinion is welcome, whether it be callers, guests, announcers, whatever. But it is just that. They are public opinions. Now, the issues in Buckingham have become rather hot and contested, and I understand that people can get upset and take their sides. But please remember that the First Amendment allows the freedom of speech, and this program and this radio station will not tolerate threats. Now, that said, we move on with our program, and we will open the calls for you to speak your mind and ask your questions in just a little bit. First, again, Jordan, good morning. Happy to have you back with us.
Good morning, Chris Squared.
Yeah, that's right, Chris Squared. It's been a while since we've been able to say that.
Yeah, it's great to see you both.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your comments about, the First Amendment, being able to agree and disagree. And, I don't take threats too well either. And there have been a lot of hot air been blown around. So
well, I mean, there are a lot of contested issues happening in Buckingham. People are naturally upset about things for different reasons, but discussion is the way things get handled, and that's the way it should be handled. And I just want to remind everybody, we have mentioned several times, we invite any of the officials to come on the program. If they want to explain their positions or anything like that, we are more than happy to have you on. But veiled threats will not be tolerated.
Absolutely. I appreciate you reminding everyone of that.
And that's
and
it. It's
not
right
everyone's going to be, and as an elected official, not everyone is going to agree with you, and not everyone is going to disagree with you. Bad news travels much faster than good news does.
True. True. But let's set that aside and move on with the real reasoning. So let's talk about the Board of Supervisors meeting there in Buckingham and issues for people who couldn't be there, how things went, what they should know about, what went on at our latest
Sure.
meeting.
So I did want to mention that we did several months ago establish a gold mine study committee of the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors, and we didn't waste any time during those committee meetings. I was proud to serve as chairman of that committee. So on Monday night, we voted 6-1 to recommend to the Planning Commission to bring back after a public hearing to amend the zoning ordinance, that the zoning ordinance be amended to remove metal mining as an activity allowed in any zone district, and that the zoning ordinance be amended to define metals. So, if you live in Buckingham County or travel through Buckingham County, you see these yellow signs that say, save our water, ban gold mining. Well, the committee, as a recommendation to the board and to the Planning Commission, has gone beyond that, not just wanting to ban gold mining, as many of the advocates have expressed their concern about water quality, air quality, the environment.
Right.
But we have gone above and beyond in recommending to amend the zoning ordinance to remove metal mining as an activity allowed in any zone district. And, I was thinking about this morning, probably over the last 2 years, we've probably heard, hundreds of hours of testimony during public comment of people who do not want a gold mine in the county. And the state study, which I have here, which was published on December the 1st, did state that Virginia's, and this is a report of the state study that was commissioned by the Virginia General Assembly, stated that Virginia's existing statutory and regulatory framework is not appropriate for gold mining and processing, as large-scale operations have not occurred in the Commonwealth for approximately 75 years. And the National Academy of Sciences report did acknowledge the same because of air quality and health concerns, processing and waste concerns, and environmental justice, the local impacts to the community infrastructure, and the many concerns about bonding closure and reclamation. And understandably, there was concern about, well, the committee only met twice, and you didn't really meet a lot. Well, the people of the county expected quick work, so we didn't want to meet for 6 months, a year,
right, try to get it done,
and just talk. We wanted to be about it, and so we did form a committee because we wanted to hear more from staff. We wanted to drill down on this study. We wanted to hear from the Virginia Association of Counties, Joe Lurch, who was unable to come to the full board meeting, so we were able to get him to the committee meeting. He's director of local government policy with the, as I said, VACO, we call it the Virginia Association of Counties, and we also wanted to hear from Ben Price with the Community Environmental Legal Defense Fund again. And so, again, we were able to gather more input from a member of the Yogaville community, and I appreciate that community for standing up and shedding a lot of light through research, through advocacy, and through public comment on this issue. They've been there are some pretty fierce environmental justice warriors in that community, and we often disagree, but I think them and I agree more than disagree. So the Board of Supervisors has taken action on this. I know there's been a lot of discussion about a rights-based ordinance, but speaking for myself as the supervisor for the Maysville District, I do believe that this is the way to go based on what we've heard from the state study, based on what we've heard from our legal counsel, based on what we've heard from our staff. So that's essentially where we are with that, and it's a pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a good step forward.
I think it is. The board's listened to the people, and of course, again, as I said, this is a good compromise. We went beyond wanting to ban gold mining in the county, and we have called for, the committee has anyway, called for a ban on all metals mining. Now, I will say this, rest assured that Kyanite and the slate quarry and those operations will not be affected by this. There's some really good jobs there. That's not necessarily in the spirit of what we're talking about, metallic mining. So those businesses will be safe. So, and again, I'd welcome any calls if you wanted to had any more questions about that.
Now, so this is the board's position where the board is moving forward.
Right.
Will this go to public vote?
Absolutely. Well, it'll go to public vote, but it'll also go through a public hearing because anytime you amend an ordinance, especially like a land use zoning ordinance, the Planning Commission has to take a vote before, after a public hearing, and then the Board of Supervisors has to do the same thing.
Same thing. Okay. Good.
Anybody wearing any gold on their fingers this morning?
A little bit.
Not me.
I don't have any gold on.
No.
I can't afford it.
Now, I know that, of course, was the main issue and the big topic with the Board of Supervisors meeting. Of course, was the gold mine issue. And
I
the
think
metal
so.
issue.
That's what we've heard so much. About during our public comment testimony from the public. The people. I have not heard from one person in the county or in the region who wants a gold mine to open up and in Buckingham. Maybe other counties want it. I don't know. So I don't represent those counties.
No, understandable. What other were other things that came up at the Board of Supervisors meeting that we want to make sure people know who didn't get there?
Yeah, sure. So we also held 2 public hearings where we didn't have any speakers. There is a Airbnb opening on Rock Mill Road, which is in the Andersonville Road community, and that is what it states it's going to be. It's an Airbnb, and then we also approved of a special use permit for the Buckingham County Firefighters Association to use about just shy of 30 acres on Route 20 for their tractor pull
Right,
that
we
they
talked
have,
about that.
and they're going to start using that next year, not this year, because of the timing of everything. They're going to use their current location on Wingo Road as well.
That'll be good because that'll help them bring in bigger events.
Yeah, that
Better fundraisers.
if they raise thousands of dollars during those events, and that's money that we don't have to bring in taxes
Right.
to help fund those good departments, and they do really good work in the county. And
Oh, yeah.
we've got 4 really good volunteer fire chiefs and volunteer fire departments who do an amazing job in fire protection. And I just wanted to note that as well. We also appointed some new members to our Economic Development Committee. And that committee is co-chaired by Supervisor Don Matthews and myself. We appointed Shelton Johnson, Alan Leatherwood, Cherie Brickhill, and Miss Hill. I forgot her first name, but she lives halfway near you two.
Okay, somewhere over Shepherd's
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I forget her name. So,
Sorry.
but anyway,
It happened.
She was appointed as well.
Okay.
And so yeah, those were the hot topics.
Okay.
I did want to touch on the electoral board matter.
It's become a big issue.
Yeah, it is, and I'll say this: I've been criticized and for bad votes, if that's what people want to call them. And as public officials, we open ourselves up to that when we're appointed, when
True.
we're elected. So I just wanted to note that. But once again, for the third time since January, at their most recent meeting earlier this month, the electoral board once again on the fly, after nearly 20 people had signed up the night of the meeting, after the electoral board came out of closed session, they voted to limit public comment to only 30 minutes.
Right.
And this is after there were about 60 people in the room, I think. A large number of people who signed up did not get to speak because of a public policy regarding public comment was changed on the fly. So there were a lot of disappointed people there, and I believe, as an elected official, that you do need to put guardrails on public comment when it comes to defamation,
Certainly.
bad language, things like that. But if you give everyone the same amount of time, give everyone 3 minutes like the Board of Supervisors does, and don't put a cap on public comment, you don't stifle the First Amendment like you were saying. And so that's where I am on that issue. So, it's my hope that the Electoral Board will take a look at, why it's important to hear from the people and not stifle public opinion. And again, you're going to get people who agree with you, who disagree with you, and as appointed and elected officials, you got to take the punches
That
as
comes
they
with
come.
the territory, exactly.
And for instance, I got a hit in the Farmville Herald in the Wednesday edition about a land deal that unfortunately went south. It was an exciting project, but the developer didn't. He lost some faith in that project, and so we did purchase the land back. The developer did put a lot of money into the project, preliminary studies and things of that nature. So we did buy it back for roughly $170,000 more than what we paid for it, but we were kind of at a catch-22 with options there. A lot of people in the community didn't support the project. It was a mixed-use development project that involved housing. It involved potential retail and economic development opportunities, and the people who lived in that area didn't approve of the project. And so to alleviate any potential legal matters, we did purchase the property back. Again, though the county and the developer agreed that Atlantic would add $15 million to our tax base in 5 years, a conservative estimate demonstrated that the value added $33 million to the county's tax rolls upon completion of the project when examining the housing aspect of the project. And I think everyone knows that there is a huge need for affordable and also, and whether it's for people who are in poverty or higher end, there's a huge need for housing in the region. I mean, I think people have talked about that issue with the PUD, which is planned?
Not urban development.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has to do with affordable
Yeah.
housing, and
Yeah.
so there's a need in Prince Edward County. There's a need in Buckingham County for housing. I think that project would have been good over in Buckingham County, and so what we've done is we have tasked the Economic Development Committee, which is why we made some more appointments to that committee to make it more equitable with the proper representation from all districts in the county. We have tasked the Economic Development Committee to offer the board some clear evidence-based suggestions as to how to market this property to private industry and to hopefully bring some good paying jobs to Buckingham County. The committee has been tasked to do so with a report by our April 2023 Board of Supervisors meeting, and we are planning to meet this month. That's the Economic Development Committee. It'll be open to the public, and hopefully at some point we can hear from the public, whether it's at the board level or at the committee level, as to what the citizens would like to see done with that property. And that's over 100 acres in Dillwyn that's surrounded by sort of Main Street, Wingo Road, LeSueur Street, that area as well. So that's kind of where we are on that. Those were the large topics that I wanted to discuss, and I'd be happy to take any calls from anyone, again, who agrees or disagrees with me on any issue.
That's certainly. I mean, or if you have questions about some of these issues, you're more than welcome. Give us a call, 434-394-0924, and you'll have an opportunity. You can ask Jordan directly, whether you want to ask him a question or just make your opinion as a citizen or heard. This is your chance. 434-394-0924. I wanted to ask you, Jordan, I have noticed, looks like some work starting back up the Atlantic Coast Pipeline.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of questions about that. And
I hadn't heard that it changed. Anything changed?
I don't know. I knew they were doing some rehab work up on Route 56 in the northwestern portion of the county. I have noticed coming to work on Plank Road, there's a lot of activity. Now, where have you seen it?
Right at my house on Curdsville,
okay,
where the line comes through Curdsville. And they're, not like heavy machinery, but they've put down as if they're preparing for heavy machinery to come through. So I wondered if the pipeline had picked back up again.
I don't know if it's picked back up or if they're rehabbing it, trying to bring that right of way, that easement, back to what it originally was. I'm not sure, but I'll try to get some information on that.
I wondered where things were at. All right, let's see here. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Miles. This is Heidi Divya-Bertu.
Hi, Heidi. Good morning.
Good morning. I appreciate you being on these calls. There are a number of things I want to appreciate about what Jordan does. He brings fresh information to the county. He has a newsletter. He has a website. He gets on this radio station. That's fabulous. Jordan, I take issue with a number of things.
Sure.
And you were just speaking about the Electoral Board and the concern of our First Amendment rights, that the new one is stifling our voice. Well, this is what the rights-based ordinance for gold mining is about. We are pushing back against the corporate takeover of our world, and the rights-based ordinance does an end run around that. And I want to say a few things about what I understand, which I did not learn in high school. Paul Simon comes to mind, yeah. And that I've learned the hard way from working up close with the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, how corporations have taken over our government, and we, the people, have been left without a democracy, with much less democracy. And this rights-based bill is about we, the people, reaching out to claim our right to clean water, clean air. Sending it to a land use, sending the gold mining issue to a land use bill has very limited power. I'm glad that we actually have that power, and that's one of my questions was for Joe Lurch. How did that happen in a strong Dillon's rule state? Why did the legislature give local communities the power to regulate, this is about regulation, prohibit extraction? So we clearly have that authority from the legislature. But, once you get that in place, there's a long history of corporations pushing back against local communities and saying, no, you can't tell us not to ban gold mining or whatever. And so here's my little history, in short, about what has happened to corporations. Because once upon a time, corporations existed. So they are a group of people working together with a purpose, and they are treated as a single entity in order to sue or be sued in court. At one time, corporations were chartered for a short time and tasked for a specific goal, for public good. That is no longer as we see. Today, corporations can live forever, can be created to solely make profit for shareholders. They have increased their power disgustingly, and they've taken over the production of our food, our water, our health care. And, their sole purpose is to make a profit, and they are legally allowed to ignore the welfare of the community, of their customers, of their employees, and they've made a mockery of democracy, and that's why we call it a corporatocracy. So corporations can be a useful tool to organize our world, but it only works to our benefit when they are subordinate and accountable to a democratic state, which we no longer have. And that's why we, in our own little way, are asserting our rights. When communities assert our rights to say no mas, no more, we win. And that's what we are trying to do with this rights-based bill. Because we are not saying, in this rights-based bill, we are not banning gold mining. We say, first of all, we say we have the right to clean water, to clean air. We have the right to speak up about it. And we are doing our due diligence to speak up. And we simply say, prove it first. Show us another mine. We're saying this to industry. Show us another mine that has not caused harm to another community. And they can't do it because they have been so rogue for so long, because they essentially write the laws that govern them. That's how powerful they are. They have the money and the power, but we, the people, have the numbers, but we have to assert that power. And that is what we're trying to do. And Jordan, we would love to have you on our team because you are a force for good. But when you stifle this, you are setting us back. We are, we're in a cage, in a golden cage. And this is the part of the corporate playbook, is they set us against each other. It's the 0.1% against the rest of us. And this is our contribution. So please understand that, and we will not back down. We will still persist and try to get the numbers on the Board of Supervisors. We see that the other supervisors are interested in this. And I understand that you want to take the guidance from Mr. Wright, but we think he's wrong. We know.
That's a little
we
good.
Know.
Yeah, that's a good little ringer, Heidi.
Yes. We know that he is doing what he is he's hired to do, which is to advise you according to the law as he understands it. But the law has gotten us into this environmental mess that we are in, and we have to do things differently. What's the definition of insanity? Repeating the same mistakes over and over again. We are presenting brilliant And we didn't make this stuff up. We got this from other people around the world who are seeing that we cannot keep knocking our heads against this wall that is not is not going to help us. We have to create a new reality for ourselves. And so I asked you to to help us with this, Jordan, because really you're the one who's the roadblock here. You did not invite discussion. You basically said to the supervisors, this is the way it's going to be. And Don Matthews tried to speak up. He was the sole vote against sending that to the Planning Commission. He wanted to have discussion, but in the interest of, let's see, what did he say? The people wanted quick work. Of course we want quick work. We've been working on this for 3 years now. 3 years. And not getting paid for it. I know you don't get paid much either, Jordan.
Not much at all, Heidi.
No. As Harry Bryant says, well, like maybe 37 cents an hour. But we do this because we are literally fighting against the patriarchy, which has brought us to this. It's we women that care for our children, our water, our air, our land. And we want some help from you guys who have brought us to this mess, and I will blame it on the patriarchy. And I love you guys, and I want you guys to shift your stance, because look what we've done to ourselves. It's a mess. Mm-hmm. And we all need to work together.
Well, that love is mutual, Heidi.
Thank you, Jordan. And you know I do love you.
Absolutely.
And I've been going on for almost 9 minutes here. And I'll love you more.
We just finished Valentine's Day, Heidi.
If you get behind this, because it takes all of us working and coming up with creative, fresh, new ideas. And again, there are 200 communities around this country that were bold enough to say, no, we don't want your fracked gas injection well, or no, we don't want to be a resource colony for your bottled water. They've written these bills of rights, and and we are standing on their shoulders. We can choose to stand on their shoulders. We've chosen to. We want you to see that this is about empowering the supervisors, not trying to get you in trouble, in legal trouble, but you gotta take some risks in life. We know that. But again, we think that the Rights Space Ordinance and the Land Use Ordinance will go well together.
Well, Heidi, thank you.
Thank you for letting me rant.
No problem.
Good to hear from you, Heidi.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Of course, the rights-based issue that's just Heidi's talking about in Buckingham has come up on the show before.
Sure, and to note, Heidi is and many of those good folks up there, she's a force to be reckoned with. As you all can hear, she's very passionate, and I appreciate that in her and all the work that she's done, and many on her team have done. I think myself and that community, we agree that what we don't want the end result. I think it's how to get there, of course, and the rights-based ordinance has approved it. First method, where they don't want to call for necessarily a prohibition or a ban, but they want to say, show us that it's unsafe.
Right.
Well, there really is, especially with gold mining, there's really no way to do it safe. I mean, there was a House bill and the General Assembly that wanted to ban the use of cyanide in mining.
Right.
Well, that got killed, and so, it's up to us, as Heidi's saying, it's up to each locality. And so I say, instead of, this is just my opinion, I say if you don't want it in your community and you're going to put up a prove it first method, to not ban it, but show us you can do it right. But if you can't do it right according to all these studies, then why not just ban it? Mm-hmm. I mean, again, we if she and I both want the same end result, but it's how to get there.
Right.
And I certainly do appreciate her. I always appreciate her input. Again, agree or disagree.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. We got another caller here. Morning, you're on the air.
Hi. Good morning, Jordan and Chris. This is Marie Flowers. Jordan, you know me very well.
I do.
And I just want to encourage you and the board to pass the rights ordinance. And if it doesn't work, I don't know what else would work. We can't sell our county to the big corporations. Do any of the supervisors ever ask the community what they would like to see in the community? I get the feeling when I go up to the to speak, or even some of the other people that we all know, that we are discounted as being pests or whatever. I get the feeling that many of the supervisors don't care what we say or what we want, and I find that disturbing, because you know most of us, and you know that our motivation is sincere and we care about the county. And also, and the reason, one of the examples I can give for that is when the Board of Supervisors approved the pipeline and compressor station.
Now, Marie, I wasn't on the board then.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I'm just giving an example
I know.
Okay.
of what, the feelings that I get from the board, that they think they know better than anybody else. But I do think they probably have the good of the county, but they don't listen to other people. I don't think. And also the election board, the conflict with the election board is so obviously political. If there is a problem with the registrar, if she's not doing her job right, there's no reason why people can't sit down with her and say, you got to do it this way or that way. Anyway, Chris,
Okay.
Jordan and Chris, that is my opinion and input.
Well, thank you for calling, Marie.
And I wish you all the best.
Same to you, dear.
Thanks, Marie.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Yeah, it's, I have not had the chance to read this rights that they want to put through. I understand the basis of it, but I have yet to actually read it myself.
Sure, it's
Posted?
It is. If you Google Friends of Buckingham, just that statement, and like gold mine,
They have it on that.
Yep, they've got a
site.
website. You can access it there. I hope that's accurate information to Heidi and Hahnemann, who I'm sure are listening intently. But I would assume it's friendsofbuckingham.org, but I don't know. But if you
.org,
Google it, yeah. And as to Marie's point, I think personally, and I'm not speaking for the board. I'm just speaking for myself. I think we have a good board, and personally, I listen to my people. That's why I go on this radio station. That's why I put out that newsletter that takes like 3 hours to put together. That's why I'm on social media. That's why I put my contact information out there. And again, we're all not going to agree 100% of the time. And thinking about it, I think, and I haven't been to a Prince Edward or Cumberland County Board of Supervisors meeting, and since I was a reporter here or at the Herald, but I think that we have more public comment and more testimony from those two meetings combined in Prince Edward and Cumberland. I could be wrong, but I think the board welcomes public comment. Again, we're always not going to agree, but I think it's good to have, again, going back to your opening statement, Chris Beauchamp, about the First Amendment, that's sacred.
It is.
It needs
It's
to
very
be.
sacred.
Very much so. All right, we've got one other caller. It's probably going to be the only other one we'll be able to take because we do have other business we have to get to. But you're on the air.
Well, thank thank you.
Certainly.
It's a shame that I would be your last one, but I'll do my best. I really appreciate Heidi Divya-Berto's eloquence. She made some really important points. I hope that this is recorded so people can go back and listen to it.
The podcast will be up later.
That's fabulous. Thank you for that. And Marie Flowers always speaks up for the people of the county. And, we elect the supervisors. They serve the people. So that's a real important point to make. But I would like to say I was shocked, honestly, when I heard your caveat this morning about how we've got to be, I don't know how you phrased it, but you didn't want any attacks, etc. I've never heard you say that before. I don't know if that's common, and I don't know what prompted it. But
it is not common, I will say that, and that is why I wanted to make the statement. Everyone has entitled to their opinion, but don't make threats.
Yeah, well, I wonder where you got the feeling that was going to happen. I'm sorry you had that feeling. We've all been civil ourselves. But
yes.
At any rate.
Yeah, that group has been very civil. That group has been extremely civil.
Yeah.
I'll just put that in. And then just real quick, not to interrupt Parliament, but Heidi just texted me that website. If you do want to read the rights-based ordinances, friendsofbuckinghamva.org. So
VA.
friendsofbuckinghamva.org.
Okay.
Parliament, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to throw that out there to everyone if they did want to read the ordinance.
Yeah, thank you. And I did send the link to the video of that Gold Committee meeting since it wasn't filmed by the county. It was privately filmed, and I found it abhorrent watching the behavior of several of the so-called members of the board. I was originally told there were 3 members on that committee, and the rest were staff, and they didn't have a vote. But that wasn't true on Monday night. And Jordan was very quick to slam down his gavel and say, vote and leave Heidi Divya out there by herself and everybody else voting against what she was asking for. There was a lot of disregard of the 2 presenters, who they had a very difficult time getting on because the technology, again, was letting us down there at the community building, the county building. And I think that got everything off to a real rough start. But I have one question, especially for Supervisor Miles, and that is, we had a conversation about the House Bill 1722, which would have banned cyanide.
Sure, yes, ma'am.
And it sounded like the House was really going to go for that. It voted like 19-3 to pass it.
It did sound like that. Yeah, I'm not sure what was behind that.
So I had asked you to reach out to Delegate Ferris, since he was the one who spoke up and said, well, I haven't read what the study put out, which was 2 months before, but at any rate, he hadn't read it. And then we find out later that they've canceled the bill. If you have spoken with him, I'd love to hear what he's told you.
I do plan on reaching out to him, Hanman, because he's on the House Appropriations Committee. They're in the thick of it right now, but I do hope to get hold to him. It might be later this month, but I certainly will reach out to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that. I think a lot of us would like to hear why he did that. He supposedly represents us. How does he think that that's going to help Buckingham to allow cyanide to be used in our water area?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I was appalled, and of course, I'm sure that many of the folks up in that community were too, Hanman, that how can you vote against banning injecting poison? It's
poison to the ground.
I don't know if there was some trickery going on, I think, politically, but I don't know what happened.
So
but I'll reach out to him.
I think that Gold Committee could have well gone on at least one more meeting and maybe more to really consider seriously what was being proposed. So the video of it I sent to the station this morning. I also sent it to the Farmville Herald, and I understand Brian Carlton has his article in Wednesday's paper as well, questioning why there was only one meeting. It appeared the decision had been made before the meeting even began. So I think that's just a crime, and I don't appreciate it. And that's all I'll say for now.
All right. Well, thank you for your
Thank
call.
you, Heinemann.
All right. I think you.
But just real quick, there were
Say hi.
2 committee meetings, and the people of Buckingham didn't want us to waste any time, and we didn't waste any time. So I will leave that right there.
All right. Well,
I
Jordan,
appreciate
thank you.
all having me. It's good to see you, Chris Wood.
Always.
It's good to see you too. Always.
Yes, ma'am.
I will just,
Thank you, Chris Brochon.
on the comment on how complicated it is, and we have to be careful because there are certain things, obviously, we all want. But you can't keep saying, not in my backyard every time, because eventually you end up footing the tax bill if you have no industry.
I agree,
I'm
Chris.
not saying
I
that for
agree
gold
with you.
mining or any, but you've
The
got to
general
be
land.
careful. It's a slippery slope.
It is.
And all you got to do is look at Cumberland County to see what happens.
That's why I think that the mixed use project, which had some commercial space and residential
Could
space,
have
would have
been
been good for the county. I was in the minority on that.
Well, that happens.
It happens.
Jordan, thank you
Have
again.
a good day to you both.
Yes.
We'll see you later. All right, we've got to get our stuff done here before we go. Quick look at your weather. Cloudy today, highs in the mid-70s, winds as high as 26 possible. Showers tonight starting in the early morning at 70%. Looking for lows in the low 60s. Still very windy, gusts as high as 24. And expect showers all through the morning tomorrow, ending sometime in the early afternoon. 90% chance with the temperature falling into the low 50s. Right now, 87% humidity, some southwest winds at 3 miles an hour. Of course, overcast, as you can see. And 55 degrees our current temperature. How about birthdays? We've got birthdays and anniversaries for you today. All right, my dear, who is celebrating?
We're celebrating a birthday today. Well, we have Jimmy Shanks, who is celebrating today. Also, birthdays on this 16th day of February. Bobby Cook is celebrating. So is Stephen Robert Ledger. We have Taylor McLean Stone. Anniversaries: Steve and Dorothy Haas, and Scott and Kara Shorter. Also, Mike and Doy Yoder. They're from Cumberland. So those are our fine folks
A lot of good
celebrating
ones.
that we know of with birthdays and anniversaries for today. We hope they have a wonderful celebration.
That we most certainly do. We wish you all the best, whether we know it or not. We hope you have a fantastic celebration. Remember, if you want to get those names to us, it's very simple. Email them to birthdays@wflo.net. You can also mail them. WFLO. That's 217 West 3rd Street, Suite 2, Farmville, 23901. Get the names to us, and we'll make sure to get it on the list and get it out there. Got a little quick business to do, and then we'll be back.
Southside Electric Cooperative is your member-owned electric cooperative since 1937. SEC is headquartered in Crewe and serves 56,000 homes and businesses in 18 counties across Central and Southside Virginia. We have 4 district offices that are located in Alta Vista, Crewe, Dinwiddie, and Powhatan for our members' convenience. In addition to providing safe and reliable electric service, we are committed to the communities we serve. We offer a variety of programs and services for our members, as well as Cooperative Living Magazine and educational scholarships. Visit us online at www.sec.coop. SEC is a Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
All right. Your history for today, this 16th of February, 1862, Civil War Battle of the Fort of Donelson in Tennessee ended as some 12,000 Confederate soldiers would surrender. General Ulysses Grant's victory earned him the moniker of Unconditional Surrender Grant. Jump to 1918, Lithuania proclaimed independence from Russia, or the Russian Empire at that time. It had been occupied by the Soviet Union, then the Nazis, and then, of course, the Soviets again after World War II. It finally renewed its independence in 1990. 1923, the burial chamber of King Tutankhamun, a recently unearthed tomb, was unsealed in Egypt by, of course, archaeologist Howard Carter. 1945, American troops landed on the island of Corregidor in the Philippines as part of the island hopping campaign during World War II. 1960, nuclear-powered radar picket submarine, the USS Triton, would depart New London, Connecticut on the first submerged circumnavigation by a vessel. Went underwater all the way around the world.
Ooh, that gives me the willies.
A little tin can. Like
Yeah.
1961, the U.S. would launch the Explorer 9 satellite. In 96, 11 people killed in a fiery collision between an Amtrak passenger train and a Maryland commuter train in Silver Spring, Maryland. Then, just 2 years later, in 98, a China airline Airbus A300 trying to land in fog near Taipei would crash. That killed all 196 people on board, plus 7 on the ground. Wow. 2001, the U.S. and Britain staged airstrikes against radar stations and air defense command centers in Iraq. 2009, Stamford, Connecticut, a 200-pound chimpanzee named Travis went berserk, mauling its owner's friend. It was shot dead by police.
Snapped.
Yeah, just went off the deep end. Happens to us all from time to time. 2011 is where we'll finish. Bookstore chain Borders filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, saying it would close a third of its stores. It closed the remaining stores September of that same year.
We used to buy books at Borders.
Yeah, I remember Borders had books and other stuff, calendars and some puzzle games and stuff. Celebrity birthday.
All right, jazz pop singer, actor Peggy King is 93 today. Actor William Catt, 72.
Believe it or not.
That's right.
Wonder how many
Actor
people got that.
LeVar Burton is 66. Actor rapper Ice-T, 65 today. International Tennis Hall of Famer John McEnroe is 64. I used to watch him play. It was quite entertaining.
It was on the line.
Right. Rock musician Andy Taylor is 62. Rock musician Dave Lombardo of Slayer is 58 today. Actor Sarah Clark is 52. Olympic gold medal runner Kathy Freeman, 50. Actor Mahershala Ali is 49. Electronic dance music artist Bass Nectar is 45. And let me see anybody else around here I can... Actor Elizabeth Olsen is 34.
34.
Today.
All right. There's your history and birthdays. You can also celebrate today. Very good for you. National Almond Day.
Yes.
Of course, you don't want too many almonds.
No,
That can be
Francis
bad for you.
counts them
Just-
out.
Yep.
13.
Yep, that's max. There you go. They're very good for you. You want, of course, the unroasted natural
right.
almonds. Very, very good for you. It is also one other day, National Do a Grouch a Favor Day. A call to kindness. Everybody knows a grouch, and some of us might even be guilty of being one. But maybe there's a way to find the sweeter side. Find the sweeter nature of a grouch. Be nice to them on this rough day and try and turn their frown upside down.
That's right. Turn the frown
So
upside
there you go. It gives you, I guess, something to reach out for. Let's see here. See if we can squeeze into one caller. We got a couple minutes. Morning, you're on the air.
Good morning. How are y'all doing? This is Terry Atkins Wilson.
Hey, Terry, how are you?
Doing good, doing good. Great to hear y'all on the air.
Thank you.
And anyway, I'm calling with a birthday that I didn't make the time to send to you earlier. My sister, Pam Atkins Lehman, has a birthday today.
Oh, well, congratulations to Pam. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So anyway, just want to wish her a happy birthday, and I'll try to work harder to get those birthdays back on the calendar.
Birthday to Pam. All right. Happy
All
birthday.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too, Terry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. There we go. Yeah, add Pam in. Add her into the list there. Well, we've only got about 2 minutes left, but we cannot, of course, get through today without talking about
Raquel Welch.
Raquel Welch. Yeah. Still can envision her now in that animal pelt bikini.
Right. In a 1 million years BC.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a great. I mean, back then you look at the special effects and you go, oh, my God. But for its time, it was still really cool. Of course
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, made her a sex symbol. But 82, she was 82. Died early Wednesday, according to her agent. Of course, that campy 1 million years BC back in 66. And she only had 3 little lines.
That's all?
That was it. Well, they're cave people. They didn't talk about it.
You got that right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they didn't. Clad in a brown doeskin bikini, she evaded pterodactyls, but not the public. The curves and the beauty made her a pop culture icon. Of course, Playboy crowned her the most desired woman of the 1970s. Men's Health put her at number 2 on their list of the hottest women of all time. And I mean, she looked great. She aged beautifully.
She did.
Now, I know that it was a brief health illness that did cause her passing. And it was something that came along kind of suddenly. It's not something that was long, but I hadn't seen or heard any details on it.
Exactly what was the cause of it.
Yeah, what did it? Of course, Bedazzled, that was another. That was great with Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, the original version. They remade that later. And she did others. Again, a beautiful woman. And, and that's true. I forgot about that in the Shawshank Redemption. It's Raquel Welch, the poster of Raquel Welch, and the movie that they used to cover the tunnel. In the story, it's Rita Hayworth.
Oh, okay.
But they used a Raquel Welch poster in the movie version. I forgot about that. They did that. So, that was sad to hear yesterday when I heard that. Beautiful, beautiful lady. So anyway,
all right.
Had to mention that tomorrow it's you and John.
That's right.
Doing Call Flow. I won't be able to be here.
I'll be manning the board, so be patient, folks. It's been a while.
It's been a while, but they'll do great and have a great time.
Yep.
And I will be back with you all on Saturday morning for your songbook show, starting at 7.
I'll be back with you on Sunday.
That's right. 7 as well.
7 to 10.
WFLO AM in FLO 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 AM